Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Caffeinated Contractor. I'm Chris, and today we're going to be talking with my friend Emely Roque. Good morning, Emily. How are you?
Good morning, Chris. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. So, as I mentioned prior to we started, this is a podcast where we bring in trusted trades to help homeowners with their renovations and remodeling projects. So today we're going to be talking about countertops. Emily, tell us a little bit about you and Yellowstone.
Okay, so to start off, I'm going to introduce myself a little bit. So my name is Emely Roque, and I work with Yellowstone Marble and Granite. We're a stone fabricator and stone installer based out of Houston, Texas. So to simplify a little bit further on what we do, we take the slab of stone, we cut it to size at our shop, and then we send our install crews to go install into homes. So basically the whole the labor process behind putting in countertops is what I do. So that's just a little bit about, Yellowstone.
And so you guys are a family-owned business. How long have you been doing this? Because I know your dad's been doing it for quite a while, right?
Yes. So my dad's been probably doing it for about 40 years now.
Wow.
He's done this his whole life. And the business has been around for 25 years. I've only been in it for 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Cool. And so my first question when it comes to countertops, and whenever I'm going out and doing an estimate for people and we're doing a kitchen or a bathroom remodel, they're always asking me, they say granite, but maybe they mean quartz, or they say marble and they mean granite. What's the difference between marble, granite, and quartz?
Okay. That's actually a great question, because I get that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to split it up into 2. Basically, sure. We have our natural stone, and then we have our man-made stone. So our natural stone is going to be marble, granite, quartzite. And then our man-made stone is going to be like quartz, So with both comes your pros and cons. You have your marbles, which are super popular. People love the color because it's typically marbles are going to be very white with maybe like gray or gold veining in it. It's basically what you see on Pinterest all the time.
Okay.
Right? But What people know is that with that comes a lot of maintenance. Okay. Right? It is a natural stone. It does have pores. So it's going to absorb more water, or it's going to etch, with certain like lime juices or vinegar or oils. It can damage it. That's one thing. With the marble, with your granite, it's a harder stone. It's more durable, but people don't tend to like the look as much because it's going to be more speckly. Mm-hmm. And then our quartzites, which is, so if it's marble, granite, and then quartzite, as far as durability goes, and it is lower maintenance, quartzite's way prettier, at least to me, right? Because you get those grays, and sometimes you'll get some of those maybe like off-white colors. You never get like a solid white, but there's very pretty options like your Taj Mahal, your Mont Blancs. All those are going to be quartzites, and they're natural stone, right? But the only, I guess, con with it is mainly the price. It's way higher in cost.
Yeah.
And then we'll go over to the quartz, where it's man-made, it's low maintenance. Because they make it, they can play around with the colors, they can play around with the veinings, The only thing, though, that a lot of people come in and they're not necessarily aware of is most companies don't warranty heat against quartz.
Oh, okay.
So you can't necessarily put a hot pan on your quartz or leave like a hot item on it for too long, because it ends up damaging the quartz over time.
Interesting. Okay.
So I guess to break it down even a little bit more, I would say quartz would be good if you want to have a low maintenance kitchen. You just got to be careful with the heat.
Sure.
Quartzite and granite would be as well. Marble, I would definitely try to keep it out of a kitchen unless you're very, really good at cleaning up and all that. I mean, you can still put it. A lot of the higher end homes that we work in always want marble because marble is one of a kind.
Yeah.
But typically we'll put it mainly in restrooms for that.
Okay. So if somebody is like, they actually use their kitchen to cook, they're not going to want a marble countertop.
No. No, I would advise against it.
Yeah. What would be the best, like if someone actually like, they're an amateur chef, they come home and they like to cook and all that stuff. What would be the best countertop for that?
I would say a quartz, which is the man-made stone. I think a quartz because a lot of people are looking for that low maintenance. You know, every single time they come in, what's like low maintenance? I don't want to really maintain it. So quartz is one of those. Like it's just a go-to. All I tell them is just be careful with your heat. Don't take care of it.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wrote that down because I'm looking back of all the remodels we've done over the last few years. We haven't done any granite, no marble. It's all been quartz. But there's some people like, let's just stick with the Formica, right? So I'm sure that's probably something you guys don't do, Formicas.
Yeah, no, we don't do Formica. I think there's a different process behind. I'm not sure how they work with Formica because I think Formica is like a type of plastic, right? Yeah,
it's if you're watching this show, it's probably not because you're looking to do a Formica countertop, So I would stay away from it unless it's like a really low budget rental, then you can go for it. But anyways, what about like trends, right? So I would say majority of the remodels that we've been doing nowadays, it's the gray floor, the agreeable gray paint. The cabinets are either white with maybe a shade of a gray quartz, or maybe they're a gray cabinet with the white quartz. So the gray and the white seems to be the trend over the last couple of years. Are you seeing anything that is different nowadays?
So I do agree with that. I have seen a lot of white and gray. I feel like that has been like the go-to kind of thing. Like that's like a safe kind of way to go. Right. I have been seeing an increase on more gold and taupe as far as white and gold, or white and taupe kind of, or even like beigey. I think that's coming in a little bit. I did see a little increase on darker colors too, or like it's like a black stone with like gold in it or something. But white and gray is still safe, I would say.
Yeah, if someone's looking to sell their house and having it show well, that's a safe color to go with, I think.
If you go dark, I wouldn't recommend going too dark with anything. Yeah, unless it's your personal home, right? But not exactly that you want to sell.
I went to a guy's kitchen. I was pricing out his kitchen probably about a month ago, and he wanted black countertops. I'm like, man, that is just so weird. I don't ever see that, but he did just move in and it's his house. So he's like renovating to his style and stuff. So I get it. But yeah, it's just, I don't run into it all that often, right?
Yeah, same here. Like usually whenever I get a darker color, it's going to be for an outdoor kitchen or a bar or an area that's just kind of different than the whole house.
Sure. Yeah. So for countertops, majority of the remodels we do, it's purely cosmetic, right? But when we're talking about functional versus cosmetic, is there any time where someone should be considering a darker color over a lighter color countertop?
The only time I would say that would be maybe like an outdoor kitchen.
Okay.
Because most of the time, and in general, anytime we have an outdoor kitchen, the main product that I will recommend is a granite, a 3-centimeter granite. So it's thicker. We don't need to laminate it, and it just holds better. And if you're outside, most of the time, people, when you're cooking outside, you're just not as clean as you are inside. Yeah. So whenever it's darker, I guess it hides more of that the dirtiness, I guess you could say,
Sure.
Versus if it was white, or lighter.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that would be the area that I would recommend something else.
And then inside is just purely, personal preference.
I would say so.
Now you're talking about the different sizes, right? And this is something that I guess maybe I still haven't completely learned yet, but the last time I think you and I were pricing out a project together, I was like, all right, what's the difference between the 2 centimeter and 3 centimeter? When should somebody choose one over the other? Is it just purely price? Like, what can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so it takes a while too. It took me probably like 2 years to get the hang of it.
Okay, I don't feel so bad now.
Because it's a lot of like converting too. So out abroad, not in the US, right? Everywhere else where the material's coming from, they refer to it in centimeters. We're going to be referring to things in inches, right?
Right.
Or we're going to be referring to things in feet. So, they'll say it's 2 cm, which is the same thing as 3/4 of an inch, and then can you still hear me? Because the internet's unstable. So I was
I got you. Yeah, you're good.
Okay. I'm gonna start over again. Sorry, I got distracted by that.
No worries. It's all good.
2 centimeters is going to be the same thing as 3/4 of an inch, and then 3 centimeters is going to be the same thing as 1 1/4. Okay. Right. So that's the conversion there as far as like centimeters to inches. So 2 cm it's pretty thin. I would say it's probably about this thin, where 3 cm is going to be about this thick. It really comes down to the preference of the customer. But aside from that, it also comes down to the edge profile that they want to use.
Okay.
So 2 cm material is best when you want to do a mitered edge, when you want to do something very intricate, like a double OG, or like just those edges that they seem like they're way thicker, but they're really not. It's just 2 cm laminated, which is the same thing as 1.5.
Okay.
3 cm is better whenever you're just trying to go for that simple modern look that you see nowadays. It's just thick throughout, and it's simple. It's clean and simple, where 2 cm is a little bit thicker.
Okay.
When you laminate it. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. So price-wise, they're almost similar, because the 2 cm you got to do decking, 3 cm you don't. Is that accurate?
Yes, that's true. And the 2 cm is a little bit more work than the 3 cm. As far as like adding a lamination, because we have to practically cut it and then glue it. So I have a whole video on my Instagram on the laminations, because it's something cool. People, it's hard to explain, and it's easier to see.
Yeah. Okay. So what if let's say somebody wants to do like one of those waterfall type countertops? Is there should you use a 2 cm or a 3 cm for that one?
So on that one, it depends on how thick they want it to look like. But sometimes when they want it really thick, then 2 cm. When they want it like thinner, then 3 cm. 2 cm is going to be more work, and it might, depending on the fabricator, will be higher in cost, because we have to practically miter on the end, miter on the front, miter on the sides. Or 3 cm, we just miter right here where it's going down.
That's interesting. Okay. Wow. Okay. Wow. So, that's a lot of science behind that, and math.
Yeah, there's a lot. It gets very. There's a lot behind the fabrication.
Yeah, it's more than just like, I'm just going to cut here and glue it together type thing. There's a lot to it. It's an art. That's cool.
It really is. Yeah.
So when a homeowner is looking to do bathroom, kitchen remodel, and they're looking to choose countertops, what are some things that they should take into consideration when they go through that decision-making process?
I would say probably what I would say is start with the area that you like the most or you want to invest the most in, because after that, then we can decide on, it's easier to decide on solid colors for like the restrooms, whereas in the kitchen, I get a lot of people who want to really just get like the prettiest thing there is, right? But then they're like, but I can't put that in the restrooms, you know? I'm like, okay, that's fine. Well, let's start off with like the area that you like the most, where you want to invest your most of your money in, and then from there we'll work our way down through the house. Okay, so kitchen's always the first focus. You know, anytime somebody comes into your home, that's practically the first thing they're going to see. Yeah. Aside from that, the bar or the powder, your master room, because that's where you're always at. Yeah. And then secondary, like, you know, the restrooms upstairs. That's one thing. The other thing I would say is the maintenance. You know, if you want something lower maintenance, then let's focus more on a quartz versus natural stone. Even though I love natural stone is just so timeless for me. You know, you can use it anywhere and everywhere, but it depends on the person. Yeah,
that makes sense. And I know, you know, outside of just countertops, you also provide sinks, and when you install the countertops, you put sinks in there too. Whenever we've done projects, we've done all undermount. The last one we did with you were undermount sinks. But I know there's been a time where someone wanted to just put a regular drop-in sink in their countertop. Is there a one that's better than the other when it comes to these stones and the quartz that, you know, maybe we should take into consideration instead of going the cheap route and doing a drop-in?
I would say probably undermount for me all day. I just don't like the look of
I know, me too.
It's just, it takes away a little bit, you know. It has to be a very pretty drop, and I still haven't seen a really beautiful drop. You know, I don't even like vessel sinks. I just feel like it takes away, you know, it's just all above the countertop. I would say just any undermount is the way to go.
What about those? What is it? The farm? Was it farm sinks or something like that?
The apron sinks. So we did a lot of those. I think those are very nice as well. The only thing is that your cabinets have to be modified to fit the sink. Right. So let's say you have an existing undermount. You can't just be like, I want an apron sink. It's like, well, yeah, I can make an apron cutout for you, but what about your cabinet?
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Right.
So that's the only thing there. Like if we're remodeling, that's the thing we need to think about. But if it's like a brand new build, it shouldn't be a problem. I would personally want an apron sink over an undermount if it was my personal home. But that's just because I like the look of it. It's more of a they do look nice. They look very nice. I've been seeing them a lot more in utility rooms.
So I guess the message is just if you're going to do a drop-in, just might as well just get a Formica countertop, right? Just stick with that. Stay with the front. Excellent. All right. So I know working with you in the past on a couple projects, you'll do the demo of the countertop. You'll select the material. You'll fabricate. You'll install the countertop, the sink, and then we did like a 4-inch backsplash on the countertop with the quartz on that one. What are there other services that you all provide? I
would say you covered all of them. Okay. As far as the demolition, putting in the countertops, supplying a sink if needed, supplying decking if needed.
Okay. Excellent. One question, I had one last question, but one thing I forgot to ask is we talked about trends earlier. Do you see anything changing in the 2024 as far as trends with countertop styles or anything?
So I have been seing a lot more waterfalls coming in.
Okay.
Like the waterfalls that go all the way down to the floor. I don't see that going anywhere for a while.
Yeah, that's a good look.
And I have seen a lot more colorful coming into, like more colors. I work a lot with Cambria, so they're bringing in like blues and like almost like burgundy, like purple colors, where it's kind of different, Most of the time it's sticking to, like you said, white and gray or like white and gold. But now it's like kind of like a pop of color almost. Maybe like countertops are not going to be like the pop of color in your home.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's cool. Looking forward to it. I like the gray and the white look. I mean, it looks nice, but gosh, we've been doing so many of those. I kind of want to do something different, like
it's almost like generic at this point, right?
Yeah, it's copy and paste.
Yeah, it's like the same. It's like, where it's like now I feel like countertops are just, they're so much like they're like a statement to your home, right? For me, at least, that's how I see it. So it's like, for me, it's like, just go bold, go big and go bold.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I totally agree with that. So when somebody wants to do a project, let's just say they're doing countertops, homeowner doing countertops, can they work with Yellowstone directly, or do you work only with contractors?
We work with both, mainly with contractors. And the reason being is because the contractor is basically there to help the homeowner, right? To go through the whole process. Because a lot of the times the homeowner, it's harder for them to know what's going on or understand what's going on without having that guidance from like that's what you're there for.
Right.
So for me, it's like, I'm not against working with homeowners. I'll work with them. It's just more like if they come in and they don't know what is going on or the whole process, I'm like, well, it would be good if you had somebody that would be able to guide you through this process.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say would be like the best thing to come in, or come in with somebody. Sometimes they'll come in with just designers or something, but the designers also hire like a contractor to help them.
Yeah. A designer would be an added cost. They definitely do a good job. They help you with selecting certain things. But if you know what you want, designers are an added cost to that. And so, for example, when we worked our last project together, it was a simple project. It was countertops. We just painted the cabinets and we painted the walls and things like that. Very small project, but it was good that the homeowner was working with me, because I was able to line up, the countertop being removed. Then I had the painter come in and paint, and I was scheduling all these things. And your team came in, did the measurements. Then you came in and installed the countertops in the undermount sink. But if she were to do this on her own, she wouldn't have thought of, I got to get someone to come in and connect my drains and all my fixtures and things like that, because that's a service you guys don't do.
Exactly. And that's the thing. That's where you come in, right? Because you're the one who knows all the other trades, right? I just do countertops. Yeah. That's all I do, right? I don't do paint. I don't fix the cabinetry if something happens to the cabinets. Whenever we go in and we demo the tops, there's a lot of chances and a lot of possibilities that the paint or the backsplash can get damaged in that process. It's just one of those things that we try our best to not damage anything around it, but they're all stuck together. It's all there. Exactly. The other thing is, we're not plumbers, so we can't go in and unhook the sink. The sink has to be taken out or unhooked, or I'm not sure what the term would be for that, but unhooked from the plumbing. So we can just take out the sink, because we can we can't do that. We don't mess with appliances either. That's just not what we do, right? It's just the guys aren't trained for that. I don't want to send the guys to do something that they're not trained for. But you would know who's good to call. Like, hey, I know the plant. I know somebody who paints. I know somebody who does cabinets. And you're aware of the process. What can happen whenever something like that happens. And then if you don't have a big dumpster there at the site, we haul away our trash. That's another thing too.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. That's good to know.
Yeah, we don't leave the countertops at the countertops unless the customer wants them, but I highly advise.
Yeah.
Because then they end up telling me to go pick it up like 2 weeks later. I'm like, well, you told me you wanted it. Yeah. That's
funny. Yeah. I would say, for anyone watching on this and they're wanting to do a countertop project, a good contractor will be able to kind of bring up some ideas like, hey, when you're removing the countertop, this is going to happen. So you're going to have to paint, you're going to have to do this and that. You're going to have to get someone, you don't need a plumber to hook up the drain and the faucet, because you don't need a license to do that stuff, but you definitely want someone to know what you're doing for sure. And then the contractor will be able to schedule all that and make sure that the painter and the countertop guy are not in the same place at the same time. They're deconflicting schedules. So, and that's what a good general contractor will do. But if you're one of those hands-on people who maybe you're handy, you know how to fix, connect a drain and faucets and stuff, and you just want a countertop, then you're probably a good candidate to work directly with Emely and her team. Yeah. I would still highly encourage getting a contractor, though. It's just easier. It's life a lot easier. Yeah, it is. It just, I agree with that, because we do this all day long. This is what we do, and a big project for a homeowner is probably a small project for us. We just handle those all the time. So, but, well, excellent. Emely, what else have we not touched on? Is there anything that maybe people should be thinking about or considering when it comes to countertops?
I guess mainly the expectations on, the process and all that. It's just a lot more. It's a lot more than people think sometimes. So, and the reason behind the pricing, all that too, it's like, well, why is it this cost? It's like, okay, well, let me go and tell you more about the process, right? Sure. So they can understand that it's not just, like cutting like a sheet of paper, like we're talking slabs here. We're talking heavy slabs that we have to move around, that we have to cut, that we have to transport, that we have to install. And then we also have to like haul away trash. But that's one of the things. Aside from that, I think we've pretty much covered everything. Excellent.
Yeah. So, for anyone who's watching, Emely's got her Instagram and LinkedIn profiles showing their process. She's got a really cool, what do you call it in the back there? Your work area.
I like to call it the shop.
The shop. There you go. Yeah.
Or the warehouse. Yeah. I just call it the shop.
Just the machinery that you have back there, and you have areas that are separated off based on the size of the countertop. And, when I went to go visit, you're showing me, and there's guys out there just actively working on their countertops. And it is a process, it's just like you said, it's just not taking some scissors and cutting a sheet of paper. It's an art, as we were talking about earlier. And you got to pay for that.
You can find us online. We have our website. It should be YellowstoneMarble.com.
Okay.
Access our website. And from there, you can actually access all the social medias. So we have Facebook and Instagram. And I have my LinkedIn. My LinkedIn's just not linked to the website. I should, but I have my LinkedIn should have the website on there too as well. But yeah, anywhere on social media, you'll be able to find me or Yellowstone. I'll tell you that much, because I handle media, so I'm everywhere.
Excellent. Yeah, and if you you see her stuff and you're like, wow, this is great. I do want to do a countertop. You're in the Houston area. And you got a project, reach out to me, and Emely and I will work together on your project. Whatever else you have cabinets and painting and things like that, all the trades lined up, and I can schedule all that out and get you a nice looking kitchen or a bathroom, or even your exterior, outside, retreat and stuff that you want to do. Well, cool. Emely, I really appreciate you coming on. This was cool. I know I need to learn a lot more about countertops. So, but yeah, it's funny. Every time I reach out to you for a project, I go back and forth. I'm like, what about this? What about this? Because I'm just like, I'm completely ignorant when it comes to countertops. I just know that, you know, what the homeowner wants and what they want to look like. But I know there's so much behind it. So I appreciate your patience and your educating me on all that stuff.
No, yeah, of course. Thank you for taking your time today to talk to me, get me on the podcast. Like I said, I'm super excited. It's my first time doing it. So
excellent.
You know, I'm just excited to be here.
You got to do more of them. Last question, and this is very important. Are you a coffee person or a tea person?
Oh, no, I'm a coffee girl all day long. I drink coffee all day long.
Yeah, me too. Excellent. That's good to hear. So are you like strictly black, or do you do creamer, sugar? What's your preference?
I like a little bit of cream and a little bit of sugar.
Okay, yeah. Got it. Not too much, though. It's
not too much.
Primarily coffee, though, right?
Primarily coffee,
yeah. Yes. Excellent.
I'm guilty, but I love Starbucks.
I go there too. I go there too. I mean, it's just so convenient. They're all over the place. You know, Pike Place or Pike, their Pike roast or medium roast. It's just too convenient, right? So
I think that's what it is. It's too convenient, and yeah, that's really it. They're just everywhere. It's everywhere. Yeah. Like, just turn around the corner, it's there. It's like,
yeah.
Okay.
It's funny. It's like you go to Kroger, there's one in there, and then you like right across the parking lot, there's one independent one over there. So it's like, okay, well, which one do I want to go to? Too convenient. Yeah. So yeah, I hit Starbucks too. I do like Black Rifle coffee. I do like to support the veteran businesses, but you know, until they get one on every block, Starbucks is going to be an option for sure.
Where's the Black Rifle coffee located?
So there's 3 of them that I know of. One is in Copperfield. And then there's one, oh gosh, where's this at? Well, there's one up in Cypress where I live, up by Lowe's, right off the 290. And then the other one is to the east of the 290, kind of like in the North Houston area. That's the one I go to primarily because I spend a lot of time over there. It's not too far from the GHBA.
Oh, okay. Then you know what? It might be pretty close to where I live. I need to try it out.
Yeah.
I would definitely try it out. Anytime I can try any new coffee, I will.
Yeah. I'll send you the link to it. But yeah, they're pretty good. You know, it's good coffee. But anyway, Emily, thank you so much for your time again, and I really appreciate it. And you know, I know things change as far as trends and everything, so maybe we can have you back on in a few months, and we could talk about, you know, if there's any updates and trends and different things going on in the countertop world.
No, yeah, that sounds good. Or we can have like a whole process video too, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. That's a really good idea. Okay, cool. Yeah. I'll take you up on that. Well, cool. Right. Thanks a lot, Emily. We'll talk to you soon.